There is a place on Earth where two ancient currents collide, where the surface of the sea conceals an order of power more ruthless than any kingdom ever forged by man. Beneath this quiet surface, immense shadows are moving. They are a pod of orca. From the opposite direction, another predator approaches 20 feet of muscle, over 50 triangular teeth, as sharp as scalpels, and black, expressionless eyes. The great white shark, a masterpiece of 400 million years of natural selection. Two forces, the same waters. Only one will leave as the arbiter of life and death. But the answer will not be found in strength. It lies in something far deeper, something that took humanity millennia to begin to understand. Welcome to GaiaDocs, where we explore the most magnificent mysteries of the natural world. This is the story of the Sea of Japan, where each layer of water is a kingdom, each species a piece of the puzzle, and the ocean does not belong to the strongest. It belongs to the most intelligent. But to understand who truly reigns at the apex, one must first understand the world that created them. A world that begins where two great currents meet. "64 million square miles, 25,000 islands, one ocean." The Pacific, the largest body of water on the planet, stretches from the Arctic to the Antarctic, covering nearly 1/3 of the Earth's surface. But not all parts of this vast ocean are equally rich. Some waters are near deserts, while in others, life erupts with unbelievable abundance. The coast of Japan is one such place. From the south, the Kuroshio Current carries warm tropical waters, blowing along the archipelago with immense speed and heat. From the north, the cold, nutrient-rich Oyashio Current flows down from the Bering and Okhotsk seas, carrying with it millions of tons of plankton. Where these two currents meet, a miracle occurs. Warm water meets cold. Nutrients from the deep are forced to the surface. Algae bloom, plankton flourish, and from this, the entire food chain is ignited. The Kuroshio-Oyashio convergence is one of the planet's greatest oceanographic phenomena, where equatorial warmth and Arctic chill create a colossal energy frontier. This is why the Northwest Pacific is considered one of the richest fishing grounds on the planet. Herring arrive first, millions of them. So dense the sea's surface turns to silver. Then mackerel, then squid, and behind them, the apex predators. From icy Hokkaido in the north, where sea lions and seals rest on drifting ice, to tropical Okinawa in the south, where coral reefs shimmer like underwater cities. The deepest place on Earth is not far from here, the Mariana Trench, nearly 36,000 feet below the sea, deep enough to submerge Mount Everest with over a mile to spare. But life does not begin in the abyss. It originates in the sunlit shallows, in the most vibrant coral reefs on the planet. And there, amidst millions of creatures, one small species holds one of the ocean's most extraordinary secrets. The coral reefs of Okinawa, a labyrinth of color stretching beneath the warm waters of southern Japan. Viewed from above, a reef resembles a city, with streets, alleyways, high-rises of hard coral, and delicate gardens of sea fans. Though they cover less than 1% of the ocean floor, coral reefs are home to more than 25% of all marine species. 1% of the area, a quarter of all life. No human structure has ever achieved such a ratio. Every square inch of coral is a battle for territory among shrimp, crabs, marine worms, snails, and hundreds of species of small fish, all crowded into a space smaller than a wardrobe. And in this coral metropolis, a tiny resident swims among the deadly tentacles of a sea anemone, completely untroubled. The clownfish, less than 4.5 inches long, so brightly colored, it is almost a provocation. Any other creature that touches the anemone's tentacles would be paralyzed in an instant. Thousands of stinging cells, called nematocysts, firing venom faster than a speeding bullet. But the clownfish swims through them as if they were its home, because they are. A layer of glycoprotein mucus covers the clownfish's entire body, acting as a chemical shield, rendering it unrecognizable to the nematocysts as a target. In return, the clownfish cleans parasites from the anemone's tentacles and, with its vibrant colors, lures prey closer. A perfect symbiotic pact written in chemistry, without need for language. But the clownfish's most astonishing secret lies not in its mucus, but in its gender. Every clownfish community has a strict social structure. A single, dominant female, the largest of the group. A single breeding male ranks just below her. The rest are non-breeding males, waiting in line. All clownfish are born male, without exception. When the female dies, the largest male does not find a new mate. Testosterone levels plummet, estrogen surges, testicular tissue transforms into ovaries. Within weeks, the male becomes female completely, permanently, irreversibly. Science calls this protandrous hermaphroditism, a clinical term for one of nature's most spectacular transformations. The next male in the hierarchy then ascends to the role of the breeding male, and the cycle continues. There is no conflict, no competition, only chemistry as precise as a clockwork mechanism. A creature smaller than a finger, living in the embrace of a killer, carries within it the ability to rewrite its own biological blueprint. In the ocean, survival belongs not to the biggest or the fastest. Sometimes it belongs to the most adaptable, to the one willing to change its very being when circumstances demand. The clownfish understood this long before Darwin wrote his first line. If the ocean is a chessboard of power, the clownfish are not pawns. They are the most sophisticated survivors of the lowest tier. But the lowest tier is not safe. Nowhere in the ocean is safe. Above the reef, sunlight illuminates a vibrant world. A pod of bottlenose dolphins glides by. Starfish cling to rocks. Sea urchins move slowly among the corals. In the middle depths, the twilight zone, another species is on patrol. It is not colorful, it is not small, and it is symbiotic with nothing. A dorsal fin slices the surface, slow, steady, like a blade drawn across silk. The fragile beauty of the reef is but a facade. Down here, the laws are entirely different. Here, size is power, speed is judgment, and teeth are the sentence. The patrol of the middle depths has arrived. 20 feet, over 2 tons, more than 50 triangular teeth. And it is not here to admire the coral. The great white shark, Carcharodon carcharias, a creature that 400 million years of evolution has sculpted into a near-perfect predator. "400 million years. Before the dinosaurs appeared, before trees grew on land, the ancestors of sharks were already swimming in primordial oceans. And as everything around them changed, continents drifted, ice ages came and went, 5 mass extinctions wiped out most of life, the shark remained. The great white is the culmination of those 400 million years of selection. "20 feet in length, over 2 tons in weight, a body engineered with a precision no human could improve upon. Its jaws hold over 50 triangular teeth, arranged in multiple rows. When one is lost, another rotates forward to replace it, a conveyor belt of weaponry that never ceases. Over its lifetime, a single great white may grow thousands of teeth. But what makes this species so formidable is not just its bite. The great white shark is endothermic warm-blooded, an exceptionally rare trait among fish. A sophisticated network of fine blood vessels, the rete mirabile, keeps its body warmer than the surrounding water. Its muscles work harder. Its reflexes are faster. Its brain processes information better. Consider this. Most fish are cold-blooded, their body temperature matching the water. In cold seas, they become sluggish, torpid, vulnerable, but not the great white. In the cold waters off Hokkaido, where temperatures can drop below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, the great white's body remains a finely tuned, internally heated engine. This is a crucial advantage. Its vision spans nearly 360 degrees. A system of electroreceptors on its snout, the ampullae of Lorenzini, can detect the heartbeat of prey hidden beneath the sand. But its most terrifying weapon is not a sensor, it is a tactic. Breaching the most startling hunting technique in the ocean. The shark descends deep below its prey, often a seal swimming at the surface. It looks up. The prey is silhouetted against the bright sky. From below, the seal is just a dark shape against the shimmering surface, a perfect target with nowhere to hide. Then it accelerates. upwards, vertically. "25 miles per hour, its maximum burst speed. 2 tons of muscle launching like a living torpedo." The seal has no time to see it, no time to react. The jaws close, then gravity pulls them back, and it is over. Not every breach is successful, but when it is, no prey gets a second chance. The angle of attack, the timing, the power, all calculated with a precision that only 400 million years of practice can achieve. If an engineer were tasked with designing the perfect underwater killing machine with optimal hydrodynamics, multi-layered sensory systems, and self-replacing weaponry, the end result would look exactly like a great white shark. Their lifespan can exceed 70 years longer than most humans for much of our history. They mature late, reproduce slowly, and each individual is the product of decades of survival. They do not hunt merely out of hunger. They hunt because 400 million years of instinct tells them that opportunity does not wait. In the waters of Japan, they are the masters of the middle depths, where light and shadow meet, and every living thing is a potential target. But even the most perfect assassin has something to fear, and what makes a 20-foot great white shark flee will appear later in our story. For now, on a distant shore, a very different creature is hauling itself onto the sand under the cover of darkness. No teeth, no speed, no weapon but time itself. If you too are captivated by the secrets of the ocean, please share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed, now is the perfect time. A beach in southern Japan. At night, a great, dark shape slowly pulls itself from the water's edge. Each movement on the sand is a colossal effort. A body designed to fly through water now fights against gravity on land. The sea turtle, a reptile that has swum the ocean since the time of the dinosaurs. And tonight this female returns to the very beach where she was born, perhaps 40 years ago, perhaps longer. Natal homing, the ability to return to one's birthplace after decades of wandering the open ocean. The turtle digs a nest. Slowly, patiently, her rear flippers scooping sand like two spoons. Then the eggs are laid. She covers the nest, erases her tracks, and crawls back to the sea, never to look back. From this moment, the eggs depend on one thing: temperature. Between 45 and 70 days later, the sand begins to stir. Dozens of hatchlings, each the size of a human palm, emerge from the nest, their only instinct driving them towards the light reflecting off the sea. They run. If you can call it running, their front flippers flail at the sand, their tiny bodies tipping, falling, righting themselves, and continuing on. But between the nest and the sea lies a miniature desert full of enemies, seabirds diving from above, ghost crabs waiting in the shadows. Every small step could be their last. The distance from the nest to the water may be only 100 feet, but for a hatchling weighing less than an ounce, those 100 feet are a marathon of life and death. For every 1,000 hatchlings that emerge, only one may survive to adulthood. This is the way of the ocean. But this cycle is now under threat, and the greatest threat comes not from seabirds or ghost crabs. It comes from rising temperatures. The equation is terrifyingly simple. The temperature rises by just a few degrees. An entire species loses its ability to reproduce normally. "650 feet below the surface, the mesopelagic zone. The light fades like a dying ember. "1,600 feet. The darkness begins to consume everything. Bioluminescent creatures flicker in the eternal night. "3,280 feet. The bathypelagic zone. Light vanishes completely. The temperature nears freezing. The pressure is enough to crush a conventional submarine. If a human diver could stand at this depth, the pressure would be equivalent to placing a car on every square inch of their skin. The body would be imploded in an instant. Most creatures stop here. Most dare not go further. But the Japan Trench does not stop at 3,000 feet. It continues. 6,000, 9,000, 16,000. 27,598 feet, just off the island of Honshu, a fracture in the Earth's crust so deep that if you placed Mount Fuji inside, its peak would still be thousands of feet underwater. Not far from here lies the Mariana Trench, nearly 36,000 feet, the Challenger Deep, the deepest point on the planet. At these depths, darkness is not the absence of light. It is a physical presence, dense, heavy, absolute. No eye can see here. No ear can hear in the conventional sense. But the abyss is not empty. It has a master. And its master does not use its eyes to see or its ears to hear. It uses sound, but a sound that no other creature on the planet can produce. "236 decibels, the loudest sound produced by any animal in existence. From the abyss, a click echoes, then another, and then a continuous stream, each click piercing the water like living radar. It is as long as a bus. It weighs over 45 tons. Its head alone makes up 1/3 of its body length. The largest toothed animal that has ever existed on Earth. The sperm whale, Physeter macrocephalus, the lord of the deep. Inside this colossal head is the spermaceti organ, a multi-ton reservoir of waxy oil whose precise function is still debated by scientists. But one thing they know for certain: it is the source of the loudest sound ever produced by a living creature. "236 decibels, with every single click. This is not a call. This is echolocation nature's most sophisticated sonar system. The sperm whale reads these return waves with its lower jaw, and from them creates a three-dimensional map of its world in absolute darkness. It does not need eyes. It sees with sound. And its target here is the giant squid. The battle between sperm whale and giant squid is one of nature's great unsolved mysteries. No camera has ever recorded it. There is no light. There are no witnesses. There is only the evidence. Circular scars, the marks of squid suckers, etched deep into the whale's skin like battle medals. Some of these scars are as large as dinner plates, proof that the squid they face are far from small. Every adult sperm whale bears these scars, without exception. In the unseen depths, titanic struggles unfold in utter silence. Two giants wrestling in the dark, a confrontation that humans can only imagine. After a deep dive, a sperm whale may rest at the surface for hours, breathing, recovering, and watching the sky with small eyes that seem mismatched to its gigantic body. The social lives of sperm whales are just as remarkable. Females and their young live in pods in warmer waters. They protect each other, nurse each other's calves, and communicate with complex chains of clicks that scientists call coders. The adult males are different. They leave the pod, swimming alone into the cold polar waters, solitary, immense, and silent. A newborn sperm whale calf weighs around 2,200 pounds at birth after a 14 to 16 month gestation. The mother nurses her calf with thick, fat, rich milk, and the entire pod takes turns babysitting while she dives deep to hunt. A matriarchal society in the deep ocean where survival depends on trust and cooperation. But even the sperm whale, the largest, deepest, and most powerful of the lone hunters, does not sit at the top of the food chain. It possesses immense power, but also immense solitude. And in the ocean, solitude is a weakness. Because true power in the ocean does not belong to the strongest. It belongs to the smartest. And the smartest do not hunt alone. We return to the surface, where the light returns, where waves break against the rocks, and where a pod of creatures is on the move, synchronized, organized, with a coordination that no human army could ever match. The killer whale. The name killer whale is one of the great misnomers in the history of taxonomy. Orcas are not whales. They belong to the family Delphinidae, the oceanic dolphins. The orca is the largest dolphin on the planet. "23 to 32 feet long in males, weighing up to 10 tons. A dorsal fin nearly 6 feet tall slices the water like a sword. And their brain one of the largest and most complex in the animal kingdom. Their speed 33 to 35 miles per hour, faster than any shark, but speed is not the orca's primary weapon. Their primary weapon is collective intelligence. Herding orcas drive schools of fish into a dense sphere known as a bait ball. They circle below, blowing bubbles to create a barrier, then take turns lunging into the ball, stunning their prey with powerful tail slaps. Each orca has a role. Every movement is calculated. There are no commands, only an understanding built over thousands of coordinated hunts. Wave washing, a second technique. When prey takes refuge on an ice floe, the pod swims in perfect formation to create a large wave, powerful enough to capsize the ice or wash the prey into the water. It is a tactic that requires timing, absolute synchronization, and a situational awareness that only a highly intelligent creature could possess. And most extraordinary of all, these skills are not innate. They are passed down from one generation to the next, mothers teaching their calves, grandmothers teaching their grandchildren. Scientists call this culture, a term once reserved exclusively for humans. Each pod of orcas has its own dialect, its own hunting techniques, its own territory. Two orca pods, living just a few hundred miles apart, can be more behaviorally distinct than two human nations are culturally. And when the orcas arrive, everything changes. There is no animal in the ocean that does not fear the orca. Not because they are the largest, the blue whale is larger. Not because they are the fastest, the sailfish is faster. But because they are the only ones to combine it all: power, speed, intelligence, and numbers. Even the great white shark, 20 feet, 2 tons, 400 million years of evolution will leave. It does not fight, it does not challenge, it simply vacates the area. Researchers in South Africa have documented this phenomenon. When orcas enter a territory, the great white sharks vanish, sometimes for months at a time. Individual power yields to collective intelligence. 400 million years of evolution yields to a few million years of brain development. The ocean does not belong to the strongest. It belongs to the smartest. the question has been answered. But this is not just a story about strength or intelligence. It is a story of connection, of how every link in the food chain, from the smallest clownfish to the mightiest pod of orcas, depends on all the others. And that answer opens another question, one that is bigger, more urgent, and more painful. Can the smartest animal in the ocean survive in an ocean that is changing? Because the ocean is changing, faster than at any time in recorded history. The water is warming. The currents are shifting. Plankton, the very foundation of the entire food web, is beginning to decline in many seas. Microplastics float in every layer of the water, from the surface to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Sea turtles mistake plastic bags for jellyfish. Fish larvae consume plastic fragments, thinking they are plankton. In Okinawa, the corals are bleaching, a phenomenon that occurs when the water becomes too warm, causing the corals to expel their symbiotic algae. Without the algae, the corals die. Without the corals, the clownfish lose their homes. And when the clownfish lose their homes, the anemones lose their cleaners. When the anemones weaken, the entire reef community falters. One link breaks, and the entire chain shudders. A domino effect. Sea turtles lose their nesting beaches to rising sea levels. Great white sharks lose their hunting grounds as their prey migrates with shifting currents. Sperm whales lose their giant squid as deep-sea temperatures fluctuate. And the orcas, the most intelligent of all, lose the food web that their intelligence cannot replace. Japan has begun to expand its marine protected areas, regions where fishing is restricted, where coral is being restored, where sea turtles can nest undisturbed. Fishermen in Okinawa have begun to replant coral, one small fragment at a time, attached to concrete frames, lowered to the seabed to wait. But the ocean has no borders. The Kuroshio Current does not stop at national boundaries, and climate change does not respect a protected area. A reef that takes 20 years to build can be wiped out in a single overly hot summer. That is the equation the ocean is now solving, and the answer does not lie with the clownfish or the orca. It lies with the species that stands on land. In the ocean, every creature holds a piece of the puzzle. If one piece is lost, the picture can never be whole again. Recall the dawn at the beginning of our story, two titans approaching the same waters off the coast of Japan. A 20-foot great white shark, a pod of orcas swimming in formation. They are still out there, still hunting, still competing. But both depend on the same ocean, an ocean that is warming, acidifying, and losing the very reefs where so much of its life begins. The question is no longer who is the more powerful. The question now is, will the ocean have room for them all? Thank you for joining us on GaiaDocs. The ocean has countless more stories yet to be told. If you haven't subscribed, now is the perfect time. We'll see you on the next journey. Off the coast of Japan, the waves still break, the Kuroshio Current still flows, and beneath the surface, the titans still swim in a kingdom whose future even they do not know.